Today, I'm going to keep it very basic. And what I mean by basic is I'm going to give you simple hacks to increase your steps, your daily movement, simple hacks to increase your water intake, to increase the amount of vegetables that you are eating, along with some simple hacks with regards to your protein intake, as well as controlling your calories. Because ultimately, these are the fundamentals, the basic things that you need to be focusing on in order to create healthier habits, in order to see some fat loss. So if you can master these things that I'm going to chat about, I have no doubt that you will start seeing results. And again, these are the very basics, but if you can master these basics, you are A for a way. On that note, welcome to today's episode of the Mandy Mayer podcast. As per usual, this is a podcast where we chat all about your health and fat loss and all about how you can start achieving results on your health and fat loss expedition. You know me, I don't like complicating things because the moment there are complications, there is overwhelm. And the moment there is overwhelm, you're like a headless chicken. You have no idea which way to turn, what to do first, or what really matters. And then you just don't do anything at all. And by not doing anything, that means there are going to be no results. But if you can master these basics that I'm going to chat about now, actually, I'm not even going to chat about what the basics are. I'm going to give you solid hacks on how to start creating consistency in these basics. Let's get right into it. Number one, how are you going to start getting more steps per day? Now, before we get into the strategies to increase your steps, I do want you to note that steps are just a crude way of measuring your total movement throughout the day. So it doesn't have to be physical steps like going for a walk. It can be that you do 30 or 40 minutes on the indoor bike. Something like that might not register as physical steps, but you are moving your damn body, and that is what matters. Now, here's how you're going to increase your steps, your daily movement, without going for an actual physical walk. Number one, you are going to walk and talk. And what I mean by that is every time you get a phone call, if you are in the position to be able to pace around whilst you are on that phone call, that is what I want you to start doing. If your bestie phones you for some gossip, instead of sitting down whilst on that phone call, pace up and down. You will be surprised at just how many steps you can rack up whilst on that phone call. Number two, when driving to the shop, park further away. Don't go for that closest parking spot to the entrance. Be mindful enough to look at parking spots further away from the entrance so that you have to walk that extra distance. Now, if you are taking public transport to work, can you get off a bus stop earlier? Which then might add a 600-meter walk for you to get to work, for example. Another thing that you can start looking at creating are movement triggers. And that could be something like when you go and make a cup of coffee. Making that cup of coffee would be the trigger for you to do some movement. Meaning, whilst the kettle is boiling, can you pace up and down the kitchen? Once you start doing something like that consistently, your body and mind starts associating these little triggers with movement, and it starts happening automatically over time. If you are taking an Uber, for example, could you potentially walk for 100 or 200 or 300 meters before ordering the Uber? Something as small as getting up from your desk every hour or 2 hours and pacing around your workplace, your office, your apartment, even just for a minute or 2 minutes at a time, can really add up to the movement that you are doing on a daily basis. You see, the biggest misconception is that people believe their steps need to be done in a walking session or a running session, and that it has to be a physically planned walk that they are doing, that you are doing. But that's not necessarily the case. Yes, a physical walk will add up to a lot more steps, but if you focus on all the small things throughout the day that are not a physical walk or a run, all those steps start adding up, and they add to that total amount of steps or movement that you are getting on a daily basis. So when it comes to your steps, don't overlook the small things, because those small things will add up to 1,000, 2,000 steps per day, which is really going to help you get to that step target that you have set for yourself. I mean, I had someone on the current challenge that we are doing that mentioned she went into a shop and they said to her she would need to wait for 5 minutes before being helped or served. Instead of sitting down and waiting for those 5 minutes, she left the shop and started walking around the shopping center for those 5 minutes. It is small things like that that start adding up. You just need to be more mindful and aware of where you can create those little movement sessions for yourself. The second thing that we're going to look at is how you can start increasing the amount of water that you are drinking. Because I'm almost sure of it that way too many of you are drinking way too little water throughout the day. But firstly, a lot of you will wonder, but how does water help with fat loss? Well, it's not that if you drink 2 liters of water per day, you are automatically going to lose fat. There are many health benefits that come with drinking water. Those cannot be overlooked. But drinking water can also help reduce the amount that you snack throughout the day when you are not physically hungry. The increase in your water consumption could see you drinking less sugary drinks. And by drinking less sugary drinks, you will be reducing the amount of total daily calories. And of course, your body needs to be hydrated for its daily functions to take place. The first thing I will say here is, as soon as you wake up in the morning, make it a habit. Start working on creating a habit that sees you drinking 1 glass of water before your coffee or tea in the morning. It is really not that difficult. Boom, hydration before coffee, hydration before tea. You are already starting the day by smashing one little goal. And then another big piece of advice here is keep your water bottles or your water bottle where you can see it. The moment you hide it away, it is out of your mind. That's where you forget to do it. That's where you forget to drink the water. If you're sitting at the desk for majority of the day, put that damn water bottle on your desk. Now, if that water bottle is on your desk and you still forget to drink it, download a water drinking app, where every hour upon the hour you get notifications on your phone to drink that water. I want you to carry that water bottle around with you the way that I carry my pepper spray around with me when I go for a run. I know it's not a joke, it's not funny, but I live in South Africa. It's something that we all should be carrying with us. Water and, of course, pepper spray. Another thing that you could do to increase your water take is to pair it with something that you are already doing. And the best bet here for you is to pair it with going to the loo. So every time you go to the loo, make it a habit of taking a sip of water from your water bottle. Now, if you find plain water very boring and that's the reason that you are not drinking enough water, there are ways forward here for you. Add some lemon to your water. Maybe drink sparkling water instead of still water. You could always add a splash of cordial, low-calorie cordial, for example. Or another thing that you could add are those water flavoring drops. Now, I get this question a lot, and it's regarding sparkling water. Does sparkling water count towards the hydration on a daily basis? Absolutely yes. One thing to note with your flavored sparkling water is that a lot of flavored sparkling water could come with a little bit of extra calories. So it's just important to note that or to look out for that. Even the water from your tea and your coffee that you are drinking adds to the hydration of your body. The fruit and the vegetables that you are eating carry water content, which adds to the hydration of your body. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you do want to be looking at making water consumption through drinking water a habit. The next thing we're going to look at is a tough one for a lot of people, and that is eating more vegetables. The harsh reality of it is, and this is me calling a spade and giving you some tough love, is you are not 9 years old anymore. You are an adult. You have to start eating more vegetables whether you like it or not. When I first started my 40 kilogram health and fat loss expedition, I did not eat any vegetables at all. The closest thing that I would have that resembled a vegetable would be a potato. I started off very small when it came to adding vegetables to my daily plan. And that's exactly what you can do. Don't push yourself to eat an entire plate or an entire roasted platter of vegetables if you have not been eating vegetables at all. I started adding things like spinach and carrots to my smoothies or to my juices. Then from there, I started having more salad. So the basic things like tomato and lettuce and cucumber. I was just easing my way into it. I didn't want to shock the body. And then from there, I went on to setting a rule for myself of having vegetables with at least one meal per day. And from there, I started changing things up, adding a little bit more color, some butternut, some gem squash, and I started having it with 2 meals every single day. And it's crazy how that if you are willing to make a change and you are open to the idea of learning to like vegetables and actually eat them, how much difference that can actually make. If you tell yourself or you tell me, but Mandy, I hate vegetables, I've never eaten vegetables, do you really think anything is going to change? You are already stopping yourself from trying to make that change because you told yourself or you are telling yourself it is not possible. You actively have to start working on adding vegetables to your daily life. That sounded a bit dramatic, to your daily meals. The reason why I bang on so much about vegetables is because vegetables are a high volume, low calorie food that is going to fill up your plate, obviously at a lower calorie cost. It's going to help keep you fuller, and you will be eating more food when you start including more vegetables. And ultimately, that is one of the things that is going to help you adhere to your calories on a daily basis. And of course, there are a huge amount of health benefits that come with eating more vegetables. Now, when it comes to increasing the amount of protein that you're eating on a daily basis, the first thing I'll say here is instead of searching around for 50 million different protein snacks on a daily basis, increase the protein that you are already having. If you are having 100 grams of chicken breast for lunch, increase that to 150 grams of chicken breast. Or if you are having 100 grams of beef mince for dinner, increase that to 150 grams of beef for dinner. Now, so many people say, but if I increase that protein, my calories will increase. Yet, no shit, Sherlock. You are going to need to look at other areas on that plate that you can reduce your calories. And more often than not, it's going to come through the reduction of carbohydrates that you have on your plate, or the reduction of carbohydrates that you're having on a daily basis through your fun foods. The second piece of advice that I'll give you here is plan your protein first. When you are planning your day in your food tracking app, log that 150 grams of chicken breast. See how many calories it is. See how much protein it contains. And then build the rest of your meal around that, with a second focus being on the vegetables and then your carbohydrates. Remember, you are getting carbohydrates from vegetables that you are eating. Your protein can't be the last thing that you think about when you are building your meal. It has to be the first thing that you think about. And then you build the rest of the meal around that. That is how you're going to start increasing your protein intake. You also want to make it convenient. And what I mean by that is prep some protein at the beginning of the week, whether it be hard-boiled eggs, whether it be a roast tray of chicken. Maybe you've prepped your bowl of mince for the week already. It's there. It is ready for you to add to anything else that you make with that meal. And then finally, let's have a look at some tips that are going to help you stay within your calories on a daily basis, that are going to help you control your calories on a daily basis. We've already touched on protein. Super important for you to control your hunger, your appetite, reduce your cravings, which ultimately reduces your snacking. Secondly, I've chatted about increasing your vegetables, because the moment you do that, you're going to get a lot more food on your plate along with that protein, which is going to be good bang for your calorie buck. So you're going to be eating a lot more at a lower calorie cost, which is going to help you stick to your calories on a daily basis. The other thing that you're going to do is you're going to start pre-logging your meals. So you would log the meals that you're going to eat before you actually eat them. By doing that, you have so much more control. For those of you that are already actively logging your calories, you know that feeling of eating something first and then logging it and seeing just how many calories are in it. Whereas if you log your meals or foods before you eat them, you then have total control over your decision making based on calculated data. Another thing that you want to do to help you stick to your calories throughout the day is to build an environment that is going to set you up for success. Something that will help you grab lower calorie snacks, maybe fruit instead of a rusk or a biscuit. Your kitchen environment really plays a big role. What you keep in the fridge, is it temptations or is it already prepped meals? Of course, you've heard me saying this over and over again, but having 3 meals per day. Now, having 3 meals per day doesn't mean that you can't incorporate a small snack between the meals or after dinner. Of course you can, but what you'll start noticing is that your need or your urge or your want to snack starts becoming less and less and less because you are having higher volume meals as your main meals at more or less the same time every single day. What you'll find starts happening is because you're eating a higher volumed lunch, that will actually keep you full up until dinner time, so there is no need or urge to snack between those meals. What you'll find with everything that I just chatted about in this episode is it's not magically going to change overnight. Like, it's not magically just going to happen that you stick to drinking a glass of water before your coffee, or that you magically just start pacing around when you're on a phone call, or that the protein just magically increases on your plate. What is going to need to happen here is you are going to have to be exceptionally mindful and aware of the things that you do on a daily basis. You are going to have to start looking for and creating opportunities for yourself to increase your steps. You are going to have to find ways forward to increase your protein, your veggie intake. And what you're also going to have to do is to stick to doing these things consistently, because that is how you start creating a habit out of it. You also can't give up on the days where you totally overshoot your calorie consumption. Those are the days where you're going to have to look at what you have eaten and ask yourself, what can I do differently the next day to help reduce that calorie intake? You have to start learning to analyze your data in a non-emotional manner. By doing that, you will be able to proceed as per normal with tweaks and changes to help you better adhere, instead of just throwing it in the fuck it bucket as soon as something doesn't go according to plan. Now, one thing that I do know is that where there's a will, there is a way. I didn't succeed in my 40 kilogram fat loss because I'm exceptionally talented or skilled. I'm the same as everyone else out there. I succeeded in my 40 kilogram fat loss because I did not give up. I was constantly looking for ways to increase my steps, to improve what I was doing, to add foods to the plan that would help me adhere to my calories. I was constantly switched on, meaning I was constantly aware and mindful and looking for opportunities, creating opportunities that would help me progress. And that is what I want to see from you. Progress isn't only about that number on the scale. It's how you handle those difficult situations. It's how you work on tweaking and changing the plan to help you adhere. And of course, so many other things. What I do know is that if I could do it, then so can you. I have no doubt in my mind about that. You just need to start believing in yourself a little bit more, because me, I already do. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you like I usually do. Keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep being kind to one another. Much love, your friend who is your biggest virtual cheerleader, Mandy.